This is literally the most blatantly false video I've ever seen on the internet.
Russia and China met together. Russia has eliminated the US dollar for international trading, and they are going strictly to the yuan.
Actually, the US and other Western countries essentially cut off Russia from the global financial system a year ago, so they have no way to make dollar transactions. We eliminated them from using the dollar.
Brazil also decided to ditch the US dollar for international trading and go strictly to the yuan.
Wrong again. They're using the yuan and real, and only for trade with China. They're still going to use the dollar for the other 3/4 of their international trade.
These two countries are part of the BRICS nation.
Wow. Yeah, BRICS is not a country. Although, okay, you said nation. I guess you're trying to say like the BRICS group. So maybe I'll give you a little pass, but I still feel like this stuff is pretty easily searchable in Google. But I don't know if he's actually trying to be accurate.
Saudi Arabia and Iran have decided to meet with China in talks with ditching the US dollar and going to the yuan.
Okay, wow again, this is wrong on 3 levels. Number 1, China helped broker a peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran. That's why they met. And second, just like Russia, Iran has sanctions on them that block them from the global financial system. So we already kicked them out. And third, Saudi Arabia has been considering doing some of their oil trade with China in yuan. Not all their trade with everyone, just a piece of their oil trade, specifically with China. And guess what? They've been saying that for over 6 years, every time they've been annoyed with the US, which is exactly what's happening again right now. They want more security guarantees in the Middle East, and the US has been hesitant to provide them.
Currently, all oil purchases are done with the petrodollar. That is what the US dollar is pretty much backed by.
Nope. Only about 80% of global oil purchases are made with the dollar. And that stat is from before Russia invaded Ukraine. So it's probably less now. Oh, and what has the dollar done since Russia invaded Ukraine? It's strengthened significantly. And the only reason it's given back some of those gains recently is because people think the US is going to lower interest rates a lot this year. And really? The dollar's backed by the oil trade? Not even close. Crude oil is only 0.045% of global trade. In all of 2021, the oil trade was $951 billion. That compares to about $7 trillion of transactions done in the US dollar every day.
If Saudi Arabia decides to ditch the US dollar and go to the yuan, our dollars will officially go to zero.
Wow. Dude, a currency cannot go to zero. This is honestly one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anywhere from anyone on any topic. Why are you commenting on this when you have no idea what you're talking about? And even worse, how are people listening?
At that gallon of milk that you thought was high at almost $10, think of now paying $40, $50 for a gallon of milk.
You know, if $50 buys you a gallon of milk, then the dollar still has value, right? Obviously, this is completely unrealistic, but it's also a complete contradiction to what he just said about the dollar going to zero. Zero, just like The Big Short.
Yes, sir.
Zero. There is a 0% chance that your subprime losses will stop at 5%.
Our military budget, they increased it by 40%, and this budget states it's for the war against China.
Blatantly wrong again. The budget hasn't been approved yet, and the proposed increase is 3.2%, which is less than inflation. The 40% increase is for a tiny piece of it called the Pacific Deterrence Initiative, and they cited strategic competition with China, not war. Minor detail.
This is World War III. I think the writing is on the wall. I think that it's not a time of if this will happen, but more so of when this will happen. So for all of you Americans that have pensions and retirements and 401ks and you have US dollars, if this takes place or when this takes place, your dollars will officially go to zero and they will mean nothing.
This is one of the main reasons I started this channel. This guy has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. Literally, every single thing he said in this video was wrong. Almost all of it is easily Googleable, but he didn't even try. And hundreds of thousands of people have had their minds poisoned by his ridiculous propaganda. I'm about as staunch of a free speech advocate as you'll ever find. But in a country where anyone can say anything, the burden is on us to decide who we should and who we shouldn't listen to. I know a lot of people don't have backgrounds in investing and don't understand how global trade works, so I'm here to help. I feel like it's part of my duty to the world to shed light on people who are trying to trick you or scare you. And this guy is a prime example. Please do not listen to him.